This is one of my favorite days all year long. I look forward to this day. What day is it? It is the day that we start our first round of seeds destined for the garden. And I am so excited, I can't tell you. So I thought today I'd share with you some of the things that I do, probably a little different. Well, I'm sure it's a little different than what others do. And I'll talk to you about my situation, and we'll see what, if anything, applies to your situation that can help you out. So welcome to Garden Preserve. I'm Carter. I'm thrilled you're here today. Let's get this garden started, shall we? All right, let me tell you a little bit about my garden so you understand my parameters in terms of how much I can plant and why I'm making some of the decisions I'm making. This will be my second full year gardening in this garden here in Middle Tennessee. So we are zone 7A, not that that really matters with annual vegetable gardening, but my last expected frost date according to Farmer's Almanac is April 10th. Well, last year that wasn't exactly the case, and I understand that's not really the case. So local lore here says that you don't put out your tomatoes and peppers until after Mother's Day. Well, you know, April 10th comes along and I look out and there's nothing freezing. I want to plant them. I almost planted them last year. Glad I didn't, because we did get another freeze despite what the forecast said. So anyway, this time I'm going to try to stick to that Mother's Day. I think it's like the 11th or something of May this year. I may or may not be able to wait that long. But for my spring garden, I have until, I can put them out probably the end of March, third week in March, something like that. And then I have until, let's call it May 1st, when I put in the heart of my summer garden. So that's not a lot of time for something to grow. So what I have done, rather than trying to rush my cauliflower and broccoli out or delay my tomatoes and peppers, is I have carved out a few sections of a few beds that will be later plantings for summer vegetables. So for instance, I have one bed that right now it has my garlic in it, and it has, I don't know, it's maybe a quarter of the bed is garlic. My beds are 4 by 8, so a quarter of the bed is garlic. So I have 3/4 of a bed to play with there that has nothing destined for it until whenever I decide whether or not I want to plant any zucchini this year. So as far as I'm concerned, that's like a great place for Brussels sprouts, which take 100 days. So, you know, I don't even know if I'll get them then before it gets too hot. But anyway, I'm going to put some Brussels sprouts in that bed. I'm going to put some cabbage in that bed because the ones I'm doing take about 65 days. And if I have any room at all, or maybe it's a second planting, I'll put some broccoli in there because, you know, broccoli is one of those wonderful plants that just keeps on giving. So you could cut off the main head and then you'll get shoots for, you know, 4 to 6 weeks maybe afterward. So I don't like to cut those out before they're gone. Things like cauliflower, you know, it's pretty much a one and done. So I have a little more flexibility there. And then I have 2 other beds that I can use, and I'll probably start my earlier plantings of broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage in these beds. One of them will not start until, let's call it June 1st, first week of June sometime. That'll be my sweet potato bed. So I have a good amount of time to finish a spring crop before then. And the other bed will be my second bed of paste tomatoes. So I'll have a first planting of paste tomatoes, and then about a month later I'll plant my second planting of paste tomatoes, so that not everything comes in at once. So I've got time there too. So basically I'm looking at 2 3/4 beds that can be my spring garden, and I'm not going to try to rush anything else on the other end. So that's what I'm dealing with. So you'll see maybe my quantities don't look like as, you know, as many broccoli as you would like to have, or as many cabbages as you would like to have. And I don't do, you know, except for the Brussels sprouts, which I can't find a Brussels sprout less than 98 days. But like, I don't do some of the longer days to maturity broccolis and cauliflower and cabbages that might produce bigger heads for me, because I want to make sure I get something, right? So we'll go through that when I talk to you about my seeds and how I do all of that. So let's get everything underway. So my garden layout, we talked about that. I have the 8 4 by 8 beds. I have 2 herb containers. And then I have 4 kind of afterthought whiskey barrel things. only one of them really did anything last year. Didn't quite have my watering set up because I had to jerry rig it because everything else was already done. So this year I'm going to try to make good use of those as well. And you'll see lots of hot peppers in those, I think, this year. So I start each year with the theory that I'm going to get 3 seasons. Sometimes that doesn't really work. I got a little bit of a spring last year. I mean, a little bit of a spring, and then everything burned up. My tomatoes, everything burned up. And then I got very little fall. I thought that I was going to be able to carry my Brussels sprouts and my cabbage and cauliflower and broccoli through, because the year before I had gotten it all the way until January. Well, in December we had that -3, I think was our low, that crazy freeze over Christmas. Everything was toast. It was just toast. I was able to get a couple heads of cauliflower and I think 1 head of broccoli before it just all, it gave up the ghost. So anyway, I'm particularly excited to have a spring crop this year so I can make up for what I didn't have in the fall. All right, so let's talk about my seeds. I have a seed fetish. So I do have a lot of different seeds. And I've been working with them over the years. You see, a lot of my seeds are years old. So I always try to update a few of them every year, and I always try to save the ones that are the heirloom seeds that I can save. So you'll see that as I show you what I'm going to plant this year. Some new, some old, some really old. But in the end, it all works out. I just add more, sprinkle more in to make up for the lower germination of those that are really old. And that all works out just fine for me. So normally I store my seeds in my office in one of those photo cases. I'll put a link to one down below. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It comes with the packages, and you put all your seed packs in there and close them up, and you label. And I have slicing tomatoes and paste tomatoes and hot peppers and sweet peppers, and I love that. I keep it in my office. I take it out and have fun, play with it, think about how I'm going to arrange my garden. I figure out what I need to order for the next year. I figure out what I need to plant, what I want to plant. But that doesn't come with me down here to the grow room, because I don't want to sit down every single time I need to be planting something and try to figure out where something is, pull out which variety I want, figure out how many I need, etc., etc. So right about now, actually last week, I put together my spring and summer planting basket. And when I say basket, this is what I have. So I have a February envelope, a March envelope, and an April envelope. And so these are the things that I'm going to be doing, planting for the garden each month. So some of these get started inside, some of them get sown outside, some of them start beginning of the month, the middle of the month, the end of the month, but all of that is nailed down for me inside of this. So it's really, when I come down here, I don't really have to think about anything. So these are my direct sow in February, and then I move these to the March basket. So that's what that means. So I'll do a second planting and probably a third planting in March. And these are things like, these are radishes, well, mostly radishes, quite frankly. Yep, mostly radishes. Right, and then I have a package of seeds. These are the ones we're going to start today. So this is my package for sow indoors in February. That's what I'm going to do today. It is February 12th, Super Bowl day. So it's February 12th. So I'm going to do one round of these, and then I might do another round of several of them in a couple of weeks. I probably will, just in case there are crazy weather things that come and, screw up what I've planted, or in case I need to keep back what I'm planting today and it gets too big and the transplant shock is too much and I need a second round that is a little bit younger and better suited for transplant. So let me show you kind of what I've got. Start with cauliflower, which is really one of my favorites. This is song cauliflower. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. It is 44 days to maturity. It's from Johnny. It's a hybrid. It looks like a cross between cauliflower and maybe a sprouting broccoli. The little, what do you call them? I don't know, the little sprouts, whatever they are. The little heads of cauliflower. They kind of go up and they go like this. And when they separate like this, it's time to pick it. And so it has really long, pale green stems and little white floret head. Florets, that's the word I was looking for. And it is so tender and so fantastic. I throw this with some of the broccolini, I'll tell you about in a minute, in the air fryer. If I can find a picture of that, I'll post it. It is a great combination. It looks beautiful on the plate. It's delicious. It's great for dipping because it has that long stem, and you can eat the stem without, the super hard break a tooth crunch. So we really enjoy that. And the 44 days, I love the 44 days. Cauliflower is usually 75, I think, an amazing cauliflower, which is pretty much one of the standard heirlooms, is 75 days. And I don't have 75 days in the spring. So 44 I could do. And then here's another one. This is Snow Crown. It is also a hybrid from Johnny's. It is 50 days to maturity, and it produces the big white cauliflower head that you're used to. It's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. I don't see any reason to grow amazing for 75 days when you can grow this one. What is this one? Snow Crown. Snow Crown in 50 days. So that's a really good one. So I'll be planting a good amount of cauliflower today because, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a cut off the head and it comes again. It's a one and done kind of thing. All right, let's talk broccoli. Broccoli is fun. Happy Rich is one of my favorites. I grew this last year. So it's kind of like it's not, but it's kind of like a broccolini. So when you go to the store and you see, the long stem and the little itty bitty heads and some leaves, it's all wrapped up together, bunch of little shoots of broccoli. That's kind of what you get here, without quite so many leaves. So Happy Rich is the one I like to have with the song cauliflower, because they both have the long stems and the little heads up here, and they just look great. Sauteed together, put in the air fryer together, served raw on a board with maybe some ranch dip or something like that. Great together. Okay, so Happy Rich I've grown before. We know we like that one. Emerald Crown is a traditional head of broccoli. It's not gigantic, but it's a nice medium-sized head of broccoli. So we could eat the head of broccoli in probably 2 meals, the two of us. So this is 59 days, which again is pretty darn good for broccoli. So we enjoy that one. Atlantis has been discontinued, I'm sorry to say, because it has shoots, but they're kind of big. It's kind of like baby broccoli heads that you might see all bunched together, but not like the broccolini. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like baby broccoli heads. And you get several of those, and we really enjoy this, and it's 33 days. Unfortunately, I checked the Johnny's site this morning, and it's been discontinued, and I don't have a whole lot left, so this might be my last year I get to grow it. It is a hybrid, so not only do I not save seeds from brassicas because it takes forever to get them, but you can't save seeds. Well, you can. You can't reliably save seeds from a hybrid and get what you expect to get the following year. This is a hybrid mini broccoli. Its name is BC 1611. I think my daughter would call this a broccoli in need of a new publicist. What a terrible name. So this is also from Johnny's. It is 33 days. And I think, it does not say, but I think, as I recall, this is a standard heading broccoli. So in 33 days, we'll see. We'll surely have to be small heads, but I'm looking forward to that. So maybe that's the replacement for Atlantis. Okay, let's talk cabbages. This is the one I grew last year. This is Foreo. It's a nice cabbage. It is 65 days. It's a really good one. I enjoy it. It's a hybrid. It is probably, I don't know, it's probably that big. Small for a cabbage, but just fine. We get probably, I don't know, maybe 3 meals out of it if I turn it into coleslaw or something. I turn a lot of it into sauerkraut. It works great for that. The storage is really good. Not like a storage, an end of season storage cabbage, but I probably get 3 to 4 months in the refrigerator out of it in one of the drawers that's humidity controlled. And that works out great for me. And it's a size that fits, it's a size that fits in the refrigerator space that I have available, which is not a ton, quite frankly. I have another one. This one is called Copenhagen. I have not tried this one before, so this is new to me. So I'm planting that one. It is also 65 days. So I will stagger my cabbage plantings. Not by a whole lot, but just so I'm not trying to cramp everything in the refrigerator at the same time. So first batch, I'll come in, David wants some coleslaw desperately. So we'll make sure we do some coleslaw, and then I'll get some sauerkraut started, and then I'll have room to bring in the next cabbages. Okay, Brussels sprouts. Here we go. The one I normally try is Long Island Improved. There's nothing there, but Long Island Improved. And it's 100 days. So the first fall we were here, I did end up getting, I don't know, maybe 15 sprouts to plant before, the weather just took them. It actually went all the way through the winter, that first winter, because it wasn't crazy, and into the spring, and it got too hot for these things. So I ate what I could eat. They were good. They were good. I just didn't get much, but I think that's, I just didn't have the weather and the 100 days of great temperature for it there. So, I don't know. I'm not hopeful that I'm going to get Brussels sprouts, but we'll see. This is a new one I'm trying. This is a hybrid, and it is 98 days, so virtually the same. So, we'll see. I think it really is just going to depend on what the weather does to us this time, because, I don't know. It's so crazy right now. I just don't know. So, I'm just going to be prepared for anything. And if I have to go buy Brussels sprouts at Trader Joe's or the farmer's market or whatever, that's what I'll do. Okay, red hot cherry peppers. Let's see. I have this one from last year, and it is maybe 3 or 4 seeds left in there. And then I bought a new package. Whoops, again, you can't see that. Bought a new package. So I'll go ahead and finish planting these, and then I'll plant these. These, I enjoy these for pickled peppers. I like to pick some when they're red, some when they're green, and just slice them. They're big slices. In fact, I'll get you a jar and show you how they look in the jar. They're just beautiful, I think. And I slice them up, seeds and all, and I pickle them, and they're just wonderful. They're hot. They're not deadly, but they're hot. They're there. You definitely know they're there. So I enjoy doing that, both the red and the green. So I'll plant several of those this year. Oh, the other good thing for these, and much easier, quite frankly, because when you go to cut these, you get maybe 2 or 3 slices, and then you run into the stem, and it's very difficult to cut from there. But these make very good hot sauce. Now, you don't want to mix red ones and green ones in the same thing, or you get brown hot sauce. So don't do that, but you can have a red hot sauce and a green hot sauce. And that's very good. All right, jalapenos. So I want a lot of jalapenos this year. I didn't have as many as I wanted last year. I thought I'd planted enough, but I didn't. So we're going to do a little better on that this year. I want to pickle a bunch of them. We love to eat them fresh. I throw them, everything. David, I don't like them in my salad, but David loves them in his salad. I like them in eggs and quiches and, all kinds of Mexican dishes and things. So I enjoy that. But this year I also want to can some sugar-free cowboy candy. So we're going to give that a shot. I don't want to do the one that's all sugary, because then David really can't eat it. So we're going to do that. So I'm very excited. So I have Cauliflower, which is a hybrid. I planted this last year. It did fine. Got to be a very tall plant. So I'm going to have to reposition it in the garden bed this year. It was blocking other things. It was blocking its friend here, Jedi. So that one I planted last year too. It produced well. Again, it didn't quite get as tall as this one, but I don't know whether that's because the sun was being blocked by the Cauliflower or because it just doesn't get as big. And then this is one I have not grown before. It is Craig's Grande Jalapeno from Baker Creek. So I'm really looking forward to having this one. And if this one does well, then I will save the seeds year after year and not have to worry about the hybrids. So I'm excited about that. And then Santa Fe Grand hot pepper. This is a good one because you get so many different colors. You get red and orange and yellow. And I like to cut these in with a sweet banana pepper and pickle them together so that I have half hot peppers, half sweet peppers, all different colors, and they mix together to form a very tolerable hot pickle. So we enjoy that on, salads and sandwiches and things like that. Pizzas, great on a pizza. So I have used these for several years. This package is from, I can't read it. It's from back when I could read small print. So anyway, probably 2018, 2019. So I've got a few left in there, and then I saved a bunch of seeds from last year, Santa Fe Grand. So I'll be planting some of those as well to make sure I get good germination. So here's the difference in the peppers. These are the red and green hot cherry peppers. I think they just look really beautiful in a jar. So these are all hot peppers. And this is the mix of the sweet banana peppers and the Santa Fe Grand. So you get all the fun colors, and it's kind of a tempered heat. Now let's talk herbs. All right, in my climate, it is too soon to be planting basil. So I will start my real basil here probably in early March, maybe the middle of March. So I'll be doing that then. But this is called lettuce leaf basil. It's from Baker Creek. Look how big those leaves are. I want basil that big. I have failed at this so far, but I'm determined to try again. It says that these leaves are supposed to be 3 to 5 inches. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to start some inside, see if I have any luck whatsoever. And then if I do, I'll start some more for outside in the next month or so. So we're going to get a shot. So next month I'll start my regular Genovese basil that I like all over my garden. And then I'm going to do some cilantro as well. I love cilantro. I have some cilantro here growing in the grow room already. And chives and garlic chives. Now these come back year after year. With our weather, with the deep freeze that we had in December, I really was not sure if they were going to come back, but they are starting. The garlic chives are completely back, but I only had one little section of those. We loved these, so I'm gonna do several more of those. And then the regular chives here. I have one plant, or one grouping of plants, in each of my herb beds, and that's wonderful. I'm gonna grow some more of those because those are just great. I bring them in all summer long to dry them and save them. So I'm excited to have those. And then dill, I used the last of my commercially bought dill seed last year, but I did save quite a bit. So I'm excited to have some dill. Love that when I start canning pickles over and over and over again. I'm going to be canning pickles. And then I want to talk to you quickly. I'll take you around and show you what the salad bar looks like right now. It is, it still looks full. It really does. We've been eating on this for a month and a half, almost 2 months probably, and it still is really full, but it will eventually start to bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and plant my next round so that it's ready when this is tired. So right now I'm starting to cut whole heads. I've been, picking the outer edges, cut and come again. Now I'm just taking the heads because you'll see some of them are starting to get a little tall. And when they start to get too tall, it means they're headed to seed. So for round 2 of lettuce, let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to plant some more red sales. This is one of my favorite ones to grow indoors. This is how it grows indoors. I hope you can see how beautiful that is. It's frilly and gorgeous in a salad. It tastes fabulous. It maintains itself very well. Gets to be a decent size. There it is, almost as big as my head. Anyway, this is a fantastic one. If you're looking for something to grow inside, red sales is fantastic. The other one I'm going to do, let's see. Oh, the one I did not do last time that I am going to add this time is black-seeded Simpson. This is a green lettuce that is crunchy and it's pretty fluffy. It's good. I'm going to grow some of that this year and I'll show you. It's really quite good. Let's see. Salad bowl green. This is salad bowl green. And this is what it looks like. How gorgeous is that? So it's not a monster head grown inside, but you can see I've been picking all around the bottoms. And it's starting to gather a little floret there. So I'll take the whole head next time. But that, that's not bad for growing indoors. And look how clean it is. That's the favorite part. You can even look underneath and see how clean it is. So you'll see all the roots. And then the last one I'm going to grow, I have this monster bag because I also do microgreens of it. And that is red romaine. See, I've been eating around the edges. Again, we're starting, it's not quite starting to bolt, but that's how tall it gets indoors. It gets a little taller outdoors and it spreads a little wider outdoors. But shoot, I'm okay with that. I'll take that any day. So I think that one is a really fun one to have in a salad. So now let's talk about actually growing indoors. So not just seed starting, but growing indoors. You would use a different mix for that, a different soil mix. So I use the seed starting mix for starting my seeds. It's sterile, there are no big chunks, in fact there's nothing in it really, there's no nutrition in it, or barely any nutrition in it. So it's just good for seed starting, it's perfect for that. You can do that pretty much anywhere and rarely have any type of an issue with fungus gnats. Now when you start to growing, you're going to need a real soil with some real nutrients in it. It's not going to be seed starting mix, number one, because there are no nutrients in that, but number two, because seed starting mix is much more expensive. So you want to use regular organic potting soil for vegetables or whatever, and you're going to end up with fungus gnats. You can pour boiling water over it, you can freeze it, you can do all this kind of stuff. You're still going to have eggs of fungus gnats hatching. So let me show you how to deal with that. See this little yellow butterfly thing? You probably used these in the past. It's kind of like the fly strips of old. You can see I have one, I have a couple little gnats there. I don't know if you can see those on this side. I can't get quite close enough to the camera here. But this will save you. This is wonderful. I don't have any gnats flying around here at all. And all of my lettuce is sitting right here. So this is great. I change them maybe once a month or so, and they do fill up, but I never seem to see the gnats flying around because they're all stuck to the pretty yellow sticky flower. Or I guess that's a butterfly this time, but they come in flowers and butterflies. So I'll put a link down to the ones I use below. They are super inexpensive and quick and easy, and I just see once I've cut a head off, I just use that to hold it in. Alright, so I'm going to start with, these are cruciferous vegetables, so the cauliflower, the broccoli, whatever. My seed starting mix has been pre-moistened, and I put it in here and I pack it in pretty well. So I'm going to put 2 or 3 in each of these, and I always spritz the top, even though it's damp, just to make sure that seeds stick and don't go flying away while I'm trying to get everything in there. Okay, I'm going to do a few of these, and then I won't make you watch everything. So let's start with the cauliflower. Okay, so this one is Song and Song. I plant a lot of the Song cauliflower because I really like it. Tiny little seeds. Teeny tiny little seeds. This is why I want to make sure they stick. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This over here just a little bit. I'm just going to put a couple. Can't even see them. I'm going to put a couple in each of these. Well, I just put one in the broccoli. Did you see it go? That's all right. We'll figure it out. Okay. There we go. I can see one. So these are 4-packs, and each little pocket in the 4-pack is going to get a couple of seeds. Make sure that we have some decent germination in here. The cauliflower and the broccoli and the cabbage and the Brussels, because they all need to be transplanted outside about 5 weeks. I won't be up potting these unless, you know, we have some crazy weather phenomenon and I need a couple of extra weeks. So then I'll give them a little more soil. These are the snow crown cauliflower seeds. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the Song. Put a couple of them in there. So when these come up, I will take the strongest one and keep it. And the others, as painful as it is, I will snip and eat as microgreens, so I'll throw them in a salad. Now, I'm going to show you how this is what I use. It is a skewer, like a barbecue grill skewer. So I take this and poke the seed out a little bit, make sure we have good contact with the soil. Trick, of course, is finding the little seeds. Usually I would do this one package at a time. Just barely tap them down in there and then water them, and the soil closes in on top of it, and it's perfect. All right, I'm going to get going with the rest of this tray, and I'll bring it back when we get to our pepper seeds. Alright, so did you see what I did here? I put Gladius Brussels in the whole thing, so there's no Long Island approved there, so I'm going to take that out. And in my second batch of planting, I'll do some Long Island improved. So everything is now planted. I'm going to spritz it with a little water. I can do that without making an incredible mess of myself. This hose that I have here, I am down in the crawl space of my house, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm 15 feet from the door over there, and the door is probably 50 feet from the water, I don't know, whatever the heck you call that thing, where the water comes out from the spigot, I guess you could say. And I have this fabulous hose that weighs nothing. It is, I call it a girl hose. I don't know, I hope I don't offend anyone by saying that, but I can carry this hose all over the backyard if I need to. And it reaches all the way from the other side of my house down around into the crawl space, and it's just a piece of cake. So this is what I use when I'm to spray everything down in here. And that's what I use to keep my lettuce alive, to keep everything alive behind me. It's just fabulous because I have no water in my crawl space. No access to water in my crawl space. Because the last thing I really want is water in my crawl space, but this is perfect. Okay, so although I'm not going to put these on a heat mat, I am going to put a humidity dome on them. And I'm going to close up the dome. And we're going to put that underneath the lights. Alright, I'm going to get my peppers and my herbs done now. Now this soil, this whole tray has been sitting on top of a heat mat this whole time. Bring it up to a decent temperature so I don't shock these poor little seeds in here. Peppers will stay on the heat mat the entire time because this crawl space area is about 65 degrees almost every single day. It may vary by a degree or two, but peppers really prefer it a little warmer, so I'll keep them on the heat mat the whole time. So I want to break in for just a second and talk to you about something that I think is really exciting. And that is that today, this video right here is number 100. So I've been on YouTube almost 6 months, and this is my 100th video. And I want to celebrate and thank all of you for being here, because there certainly wouldn't have been a 100th video if it hadn't been for you guys, because I can only talk to myself so long. But anyway, I have a giveaway. So I am giving away a package, a 6-pack of the grow lights that I use. I will post a picture, probably right in front of my face, but anyway, I will post a picture of them from Amazon. The ones that I'm posting for the US are they're slightly better actually than the ones I have. They're higher in lumens. Mine are 5200 lumens. I think that these that they have now are 6000 lumens, something like that, 6300 lumens. And the ones in Canada, they have my exact same lights available in Canada. So if you're in the US or Canada, that's what you'll get. If you're not in the US or Canada and you happen to be the winner, we will get together, the two of us, and figure out a gift card of the same value as the lights here, and I'll take care of that for you. And I will be delighted to have somebody who needs grow lights win. Somebody who doesn't need grow lights but has a son or a daughter or a neighbor you want to give them to, that's fine with me as well. And I want to say thank you, and I want to make sure that people get growing and you can grow as much food as you possibly can. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to getting me to 100. I keep wanting to call them episodes, but 100 videos. I am so pleased to have you here, and I'm thrilled that you come. So all you have to do to enter is comment down below, and I will do a drawing. Let's see, I'm going to close it February 28th for the drawing purposes. You'll be able to comment, years from now if you happen to be watching that then. But I will close it for the drawing purposes February 28th, and then I will announce the winner in whatever video I post that first week of March. And then you and I will get together. So if anybody says anything in the comments, you've won, it looks like they're me. No, I'm not going to do it that way. So stay tuned. If you also want to like and share the video and subscribe, that would be fantastic. I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to do a big giveaway when I get to 10,000 subscribers as well. I'd like to do that soon. So if you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. And for that, all you'll have to do is be a subscriber for the next big giveaway. But for this one, just comment down below, and I thank you so much for being here. All right, so I planted my Santa Fe Grand. I put the seeds on there. So number one, you can actually see these, unlike the broccoli cauliflower seeds. Secondly, unlike the broccoli and cauliflower, where those plants will probably spend their entire growing life until I move them out to the garden in one of these 4-packs. The peppers, since they're going to be in the grow room for, it could be as long as 12 weeks, but probably around 8 to 10 weeks, they're going to need more growing room than this. So I'll start 2 or 3 in each seed packet, or in each seed pod, and then I will step them up once I get some healthy little sprouts. So that will save me some space right now and allow me to grow, to start more plants in very little space. So I'm just going to tuck these in. So a little bit bigger, so I will make sure that they get covered. I'll bring you back when I up pot these so that you can see the pots I use when I have something that's going to be in that pot for a long time. And you'll also see that when I do that, I transition from seed starting mix to a good potting soil with some nutrition in it. All right, spray these, and I'll get to the rest of my peppers. All right, well, I have my peppers out here. Before I push them in, I want you to see that I do try to separate them, because I do plan to keep as many of these seedlings as are healthy. And if I don't use them, I may need them as a backup. I will give them to friends, to neighbors. I really never have a hard time giving them away. So I wanted you to see that. I also want you to see that this bin right here is empty. It doesn't always work out that I can keep an empty bin, but it sure makes my life easier when I go to bottom water once these things have all sprouted and taken off. So that's a nice little trick. If you have the room, try to do that. So save yourself some trouble trying to lift one of these out in bottom water. It gets to be a pain. So we'll get these pushed in. So by keeping them spread apart a little bit, less risk that I'm going to damage the roots of one plant when I go to separate them. So do I have a plan? Let's talk about, do I have a plan for how many of these I really want? Yes, I always start with a plan, and the plan always changes just a little bit. So I don't mind, you know, seeds are cheap, at least relatively speaking. They're cheap and they're available right now. And I do have some backups. But you know, I don't mind putting in some extra seed. I don't even mind growing out an extra plant if I can't find somebody to take it. That's okay. I'll show you another option I have for poking these in. That gets too tedious for you. I like my little pink knife here. So that is sometimes a little bit easier to get these seeds in. All right, let's do some dill. I do a very thick seeding on my herbs so that when I transplant, I just transplant the whole hunk, and I may break it apart a little bit, spread it out, and then I can add more seeds around it, but at least I know where it is. That was a lot of seed. Okay, now I'm going to get these spritzed with some water. I've got a cover on them. And these are going to go on the heat mat. Alright, so all this lettuce you've seen behind me, plus several entire heads that we've eaten so far, was started in an egg crate. It's just a normal egg crate. This is from Costco. I poked little holes in the bottom of each of these, and then I cut it, and then I cut the top away from the bottom. Okay, and then I put the top inside the bottom. All right, so this is how I start my lettuce. I always do it like this. It is in one of these containers that I have often bought eggs from Costco. So this holds 24, and so there's a top and there's a bottom. And this bottom is where I'm going to, that's what you see here. That's where I'm going to put the soil, where I'm going to plant the seeds. I'm going to cut this off, and this is going to be my bottom tray to catch the water. So I'll poke a hole in each of these. It'll drain into here. And they will stay in here for maybe 10 days or so. And they'll be up. I like to transplant my lettuce when it's really teeny tiny, less transplant shock, and it's just much easier, because then I can just take this and my little transplant and just poke it into a new pot, and it's just as easy as can be. So I'm going to get this spritzed up here because it's dried out. This does not go on a heating mat.
will go under a humidity dome though. Alright, so let's get this done. So I'll plant this relatively heavily as well. As you see, this is 24 little sections, and I ended up with, I think it was 72 heads of lettuce. So I was able to start 3 heads of lettuce in each. So I'll put several in each of these. So this is black-seeded Simpson. This is such tiny little seed, it's ridiculous. You can see it. So, you know, I do my best not to let it overlap into the containers, but it does. Lettuce seed is so cheap. I buy it in quantity because I like to use it as microgreens and baby leaf lettuce as well. So, this is a 1 ounce package, and I don't even know, I wouldn't even know how to tell you how much lettuce seed is in there. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Alright, so black-seeded Simpson is done. This is red sales. This is a 4 ounce package, again, because it's one of my favorites. So I could do this in trenches out in the garden, and it's super easy and fast that way, but I am just not going to grow in the garden this year for the lettuce. Although, I did tell you before, I did start some, well, not start some, I just threw out some seed in the fall, and so it's now starting to come up. But I'm not going to plant around it. I'm gonna plant when I need to plant in that bed, and it can continue to come up or not. Okay, salad bowl green. It's a little bit lighter. So this salad behind me, as I mentioned, I planted it in November. It is now February 12th, and it is still going so strong. We have several more weeks out of this, and we eat a lot of salad. But I do want to make sure that I have a new batch going by the time this is tired. As we get toward the end, I'll just start cutting whole heads instead of pulling the outer leaves. I don't want anything to bolt, so by the time it starts to get a little tall in the center, I'll just go ahead and take the whole head. Call that one done. Alright, let's see if we can get these squished in. Lettuce seed does not need to be buried, but it does need good contact with the soil. So I'm really just pressing this in. I have a couple seed starter mixtures that I really like. The first one is a Spoma organic. It's terrific. It's not terribly expensive. Sometimes you can get better deals on it than others. My favorite is the one I'm going to show you over here. It's called Coast of Maine. I won't show it to you because it's heavy, but I will link it in the description below. I'll link both of them in the description below. Can't always afford Coast of Maine. It is a little more pricey, but again, sometimes you can get deals on that if you buy in multiple packages if you're going to be growing enough. I really like it. It is a very fine mix. I also love their potting soil and their raised bed mix. Again, it's a little pricey, so you have to keep an eye out to get something on sale. Do this without making a mess. Huh. No would be the answer to that. I did make quite a mess, but that's all right. All right, let's get these sweet potatoes in now. The sweet potatoes, I don't need seed starter mix. It's more expensive than potting soil, so I switch over to potting soil for this. So I'm just gonna see how I'm gonna lay these suckers out. Don't really need the tail here. All right. I want the half to 2/3 down in there. Touching the soil. Let me lay this out a little bit better here. These will stay on the heat mat the entire time. As they give me slips, I pull my slips when they're, I don't know, 4 to 5 inches long. And then you can either put them into a jar of water if they don't have a decent root system that comes with them, or you could put them in a little starter pot. There. All right, those are good. I'm not going to put a humidity dome on these because I don't want them to rot. They'll do just fine like this. It'll take a while, but they'll be fine. We don't put them in the ground here where I live until June. So figure June 1 is probably my target date here. So I've got plenty of time. You know, I say that, best laid plans, right? But in theory, I have plenty of time for these to work just fine. All right, let's take a look at what we accomplished today. This is the first tray of the brassicas, so it is not on a heat mat. This is the hot peppers and the herbs. It is on a heat mat. Back there you can see the sweet potatoes. They're on a heat mat. The lettuce is not on a heat mat. Ooh, I do need to cover it though. I'll do that. And then this is the second tray of brassicas. This will be for Christine. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. Growing food is such a huge passion to me, and it's equaled really only by preserving food. So I am thrilled to have you here for both sides of it. I know we've been very preserving heavy for the last few months, but we're gonna be high on the grow scene for a while here. So I'm happy to have you here, and I appreciate it so much. If you like this video, I'm going to send you back to the original video I did on starting this lettuce and the review of the grow room. And I thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.